Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by my lovely co-host Dana.
Hi.
We're back for some more Dawson's Creek. Tonight we're discussing season 1, episodes 8, 9, and 10. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So episode 8 is titled Boyfriend. And Jen's ex-boyfriend from New York is in town.
Right. Oh, man. I was like, "Ooh, new character."
So Pacey had a line before we actually meet the character, and he almost gets hit by the car. Where he's like,
Yeah.
"This man is so boring." He's like, "Except for the occasional sex scandal provided by yours truly." He's like, "Nothing ever happens in this town."
True. When they're, like, the most dramatic people in the town,
Right.
like, literally.
So Pacey steps
Nothing
off the
happens.
curb and almost gets hit by somebody speeding, and
Yeah.
it's Billy, Jen's ex-boyfriend.
Uh,
Um, he makes his way to the high
uh,
school. He doesn't bring Pacey with him because Pacey complained about his driving, so he's like, "It wouldn't be safe for you to get in my car."
I was like, "Is this another teacher? Is Pacey trying all over again? Just going for it, being the guy?"
Um, Jen sees him from a distance, and she kind of like tells Dawson to go on. She needs to take care of something, and he spies from like a doorway, as does Joey.
Literally everyone knew she was talking to him. Everybody.
Yeah. Um, and he says that he drove all night. She's like, New York's like 4 hours away. And he's like, but I'm so tired. So they're at her house and Dawson is coming home, and she like asks to talk to Dawson in private, and she tells him that's her ex, and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, no, she says, I've told you about him before. And then it like takes a minute to process. And he's like, oh,
Right. Yeah, we talked about Billy already,
yeah.
is basically what she said. Oh, yeah. It's like, "Good scratch? Oh, what? Oh, okay."
So I was going to say my one complaint about Dawson, but one of many complaints about Dawson is that when he, feels threatened or insecure, he lashes out and he like throws Jen's past in her face. He says something, he's like, you want me to let the guy that's had you from Battery Park to your parents' bedroom stay at my house?" And I was like, "You are so lucky she doesn't stab you."
There's literally like, he does it repeatedly over the course of these episodes,
Mhm.
and, in this episode specifically, a couple times.
Yeah,
Like, basically calls her a slut in, like, not in, like, so many words, like,
yeah,
and yes, like, total punch in the face. This does not endear him to me at all, like, in any way.
right.
Like, it's very, very, very difficult for me to like Dawson right now at all, especially after this episode.
Um, so Joey no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Dawson's parents
Mm.
are trying to, like, get back on track. They're in therapy, and
Yo, when they
Gail
shot that scene real quick, I was like, "Are they okay? Like, how much time has gone by? Because
right,
the last time we saw them, they were fighting,
yeah,
like, and that was, like, hurricane episode, really. You got, like, a
yeah,
little bit of love them at all, but that was it. I was
yeah.
like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, they're going in therapy. Okay." I was like, "What?"
So apparently their therapist thinks that they should do things that they haven't done before. So Gail suggests maybe scuba diving, and Mitch says that's expensive. He's like, "What about swinging or open relationship?" He's like, that seems to appeal more to your taste. I was like, "Ooh, I felt that." You like sliced her.
He he gets her so many times, just, like, real quick ones, real stabs right into the heart.
Yeah,
He just oh god. Oh my god, yeah.
yeah, it was
I
rough.
think I wrote down Mitch is the realest one because he was just like keeping it 100. He's like, "Listen, or I agreed to that we're gonna make this work, but or we're doing it on my own terms." Like, you know, and I was like, "Okay." Whew.
Um, at one point, I think we saw Cliff, and he was like, "Oh, does Jen have a boyfriend?" And he's like, yeah, me."
That was right
And Cliff's like, "Oh, good for you."
yeah, that was right after he witnessed Jen walk away with her
Yeah.
ex-boyfriend, just
Mhm.
leave school grounds. Again, like, I was thinking, I was like, "Okay, so apparently a complete stranger who doesn't go to the school could just walk into the school and escort another student out of the campus. No one stops them.
It was the
That's
90s.
cool."
It was the
It was
90s.
the late 90s, and that whole interaction, like, it was like a 1-2 for Dawson. Like, oh, we just watched his girlfriend walk away, and Cliff doesn't even acknowledge him as her boyfriend.
Apparently, the baby's not sleeping well, Bessie's baby, and it's keeping Joey up all night,
Mhm.
um, to the point
Is
that, she said something about she fell asleep watching The English Patient, and that's the only thing that'll put the baby to sleep.
yeah. Is the baby in Joey's room,
I
or
think
is
so,
the baby, like,
I think they put
on
they
the
made Joey's room the nursery, and now Joey's sleeping on the couch.
yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
what the situation
okay.
is.
Oh, that sucks. So she's going again, more torture of Joey. Just Joey going through it,
Yeah.
not being able to live her life at all. Poor thing. God damn. No wonder she wants to get out of there so badly.
So it's funny, we still randomly see the video store, but we don't see Dawson working
Mhm.
there, it's mostly just Pacey. And,
Yeah.
that's when Joey goes to rent The English Patient, and Pacey kinda, like, picks at her for, like, having feelings for Dawson, and she's just like, "Bite me, Pacey."
Yeah, absolutely.
Um
I would too. He's a little shithead, like, really.
So, Joey is trying to study for school while being exhausted, work a part-time job, and still have some kind of social life. The
Oh,
restaurant that
really?
they own is, like, overflooded, like, with customers, like, they're understaffed, and
Yep.
Pacey wants her to go to a beach party. And I thought it was really sweet that Bessie was like, "Go, like, go be a teenager, like, you're going through a lot."
Yeah, she's being a great, like, role model for her, I think, looking out for her. And I also thought Pacey was kinda looking out for her too. Like,
Yeah,
I know Pacey wanted to go, but I felt very much that, like, Pacey was really trying to be there for Joey in a lot of,
mhm,
like, this part, like, getting her to go, and
yeah.
stuff like that. Even though he's, like, being a dick most of the time, I'm starting to see the heart of gold underneath all those, like, layers of
Now that he's
sarcasm
removed from that,
and bad
inappropriate
yeah,
relationship.
yes, yes, and the desperation that stinks all over Pacey, I'm starting to see through it all a little bit, and he's becoming a little more endearing to me, especially in this episode.
Um, so actually earlier there was a funny moment when the baby was crying and Joey's trying to get ready for work, but like Bodhi's in the bathroom, her hair's wet, and
Yep.
she's like, when are things gonna get better?" And Bessie's like, "We're just going through an adjustment period." She's like, "I'll let you know in like 2 to 3 years." It's just like, what?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, jeez, and that I couldn't imagine. I literally could not imagine, like, at
Yeah,
all, even to right now, that situation.
yeah, because she's 15, 16, and the sister can't be much
Yeah.
older, maybe 20,
I
21.
don't know, yeah, I wanna say maybe she's gotta be in her mid-20s. I mean, they're running a restaurant, so she's gotta
Yeah,
have I just the way the actress looks, I would say, like, maybe mid-20s.
okay.
But seriously, like, sleeping on the couch with a baby crying and all that stuff, just the lack of sleep, it's the whole household's feeling it, and,
Yeah.
I always feel I'm just gonna keep feeling bad for Joey, like, hang in there, girl.
Yeah.
Good things are coming your way, I hope, soon.
So Pacey and Joey go to the party. They run into Dawson,
Yeah.
and Dawson goes to get Joey a drink, but then he runs into Jen, and they kind of just like walk off onto the beach, and Dawson forgets to get Joey the
Oh,
drink.
so so we missed the part where Dawson kinda gives Jen an ultimatum-ish about, like, figure out what's going on with Billy,
Hmm.
figure it out, tell him that Kid rocks, and I'm going to this party, so, like, if you show up there, I guess, then we're together, or if you don't, then
All right.
it's
Okay.
over, kind of.
So she
Yeah,
showed up.
and then so she showed up, and but, he kinda went to this party also to, like, hang out with Joey, like, shows up with Joe again, like, Joey is just, like, the second, like, person, like, the default, right? And he's always waiting for Jen to show up, and that's
Right.
what's killing me about this whole interaction. Can't and then
um,
he basically ditches her to be preyed upon.
yeah. So this guy with long blonde hair is like hitting on her, and he gives her a drink, and she like takes it, and I'm like, oh, never take drink from a stranger. I'm like,
No, so
they weren't
bad.
teaching that lesson yet on TV. Like, that was like,
No, no, yeah, can't handle it.
but Pacey, I forgot the nickname he gave him, but he called him like something rapey. Like he was just like Mr. Rape or something like that. Because she
Probably,
was getting pretty
statutory
wasted.
statutory I don't know, know because it was something yeah, he said something to him, like, while they were, like, dancing, and he's, like, been trying to make a move on Joey for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the part where Pacey, like I said, endears me to him because he's showing up for Joey, like, he's kinda, like, sticking up for her, trying to protect her, make sure she doesn't do anything stupid, like, or something doesn't happen to her, and he literally beats the guy up just to, keep her from doing something dumb or having something happen to her. And I was like, "Oh, see, there's something in there.
and
It's
Pacey
not
punches
just,
him, and I'm like, "Oh, poor Pacey." Like,
yeah,
he, like, hurt his hand, like, punch this guy.
yeah, yeah. It was wonderful. I thought it was a great moment, like where that they shared, and I was just like that. It really made me go, "Oh, Pacey." And then I wrote down. I think I wrote down. I was like, "I need a redemption arc for Pacey. I need Pacey to be the worst to then be better incrementally because he learns, like, through all of his experiences. That would be the best. We'll see if that happens.
Um,
I was making a
I was expecting Joey to throw up on Dawson or Pacey, like, one of them at some point because she was
That
hitting.
was I agreed. I thought the same thing. I'm like, "Ooh, this girl got puke on somebody,"
Like,
and
after
she
they
was
have, like,
gonna
a
say
touching moment where they say something inspirational, she just goes, "Bleh," like,
oh,
throws up on them or
oh,
something.
oh, no, like, so, like yes. So they get her into the house, right? And then, Dawson, of course, puts her down on the couch. This is like the classic scene of the drunk girl, and I was like, "Oh, she's gonna confess." That was what I first thought, and then I immediately thought she's gonna say something and then throw up on him. Like,
Yes, right?
like, she's like, "Just I love that," like before the words even come out. But what happened was still again, it doesn't count.
Yeah. They kiss so much, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, like, this is, like, what just doesn't count because she's completely unconscious and,
Yeah.
like, 1 minute talking about the restaurant, the next minute, she
She literally was,
grabs his
like,
face.
talking about orders. She's like, "Table 5 needs
Yeah,
this." She's like
yeah,
Meanwhile,
yeah, but
the
they're
baby's
doing right
crying
by
and PC's trying to keep the baby, so he starts, like, quoting the English pronunciation, and the baby, like,
I love that scene. I love that scene. I was like, "I gotta give it to Joshua Jackson in this scene. He's doing the most, and I love it." Like, this scene was a lot of Pacey love for me. It really, like, took him up another level to, like, he's becoming more well-rounded. Like, he has, like, more personality than just, like, a
yeah,
sex-crazed teen.
yeah.
But yeah, love it.
Just to rewind a little bit, back at the party, Billy shows up, and
Yes.
Jen's like, "I told you to
Shows up
leave," and he's like he says that they kissed, and she was like, "It was a goodbye kiss." He's
oh,
like, "No,
goodbye.
that didn't feel like a goodbye kiss," and of course, Dawson hears they kissed, and he starts to spiral.
Of course he does. I'm sorry, but this guy Billy is, like, doing too much. I can't.
I hate
He
him.
just poofs. He just, like, shows up at literally everywhere he goes. It's like he's stalking them. And the fact that I'm sorry, but the fact that Dawson let him stay at his house in his room, hell fucking no.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are to her. I don't care. You can sleep in your car. You're
yeah,
not sleeping in my room.
yeah.
Brother, no way. I don't care. Whew, he's
So
the
then,
worst.
now fast forwarding after Joey kissed Dawson and they get out of the house, him and Pacey are rowing across the creek. And Pacey's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
he tells him Joey kissed him, and he's just like, "Are you blind?" He's like, "You keep saying that you guys are just friends." He's like, but he's like, anybody could see like the hormonal attraction between you two or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, sometimes I think like Pacey's trying to wingman both of them to each other because he's tired of it. I
Yeah.
guess. But like a part of me thinks this is like foreshadowing, and I'm like, God damn it, they better not get together. Dawson needs to suffer. He has not suffered, not once.
I know you want him to hurt.
Not absolutely. I hope this is, like, not leading to them eventually, like, confessing, but then maybe doing, like, the bounce back where I don't know. I'm starting to get predicting now. I wanna tell the future.
So, not Peasy. Dawson sees Jen standing on the dock by their house, and I'm like, wow, they have a huge dock in their backyard.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
it's a shared dock, but that's their backyard.
yeah,
Um,
yep.
and
There's a perfect light of it.
she ends up breaking up with him. She's
Yeah,
like, "I've
with
always
the
defined
scratching.
myself by relationships." She's like, "I went from Billy to you," and she's like, "I just need to find out who I am alone, not in a relationship."
Yep.
And I like how she of course, he lashes out because that's what he does, and he
Yeah.
calls her a slut in a roundabout way. And
Again.
yeah, um, I like how she's like, "I'll regret my decision every day." She's like, "And you'll have every right to tell me that you're in love with somebody else when I come crawling back to you."
Yeah. But I think she did the right thing. I think
Yeah,
that was the right call. Like, she doesn't need to be with anyone. I mean, I'm similar in that way too. I was a serial monogamous, if you will, like just go from like one relationship to the next. And it really is a good idea to like be on your own for
yeah,
once in your life.
yeah.
And she doesn't, but there's like,
I was the
a
same
lot
way.
of truth.
Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah.
I was always either dating somebody or talking to somebody or going out on
Yeah.
a date. Like, I was just like and then I was like, "I just need to chill," and I didn't go out. I went on, like, random dates here and there, but, like, I was single for years. And then I kinda got
Yeah.
used to being single, and I was like, "I don't think I wanna date anybody," like, 'cause I got good with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a moment where I was finally, like, "free," quote, unquote, through from a bad relationship, and then, I had, like, a good chunk of time where I was, like, floating around, and then I met Chris, and then,
Here we
what are you
are.
gonna do? That's my
What are you gonna
but
do?
yeah, like, I kept preaching to Jen through the screen, like, "Stay single, this is a good thing," and, of course, literally, like you said, the first thing Dawson does, he insults her.
Yeah,
Like, "You're already proving my reasoning for breaking up with you, bro." And it's like, "That's right. Split up.
yeah,
Shouldn't be together." In 3 months. This is only 3 months.
right.
It's not that deep. And again, they're 15, so I kinda remember, like, the world is ending 15. Like,
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
true.
world's shattered.
I didn't have a promo for that episode, but I do have a promo for the episode 9.
Hell
So
yeah.
I'm
Let's
gonna
do
play
it.
that, and then we will talk about it.
On the
Love
next
it.
Dawson's Creek.
Take a little ride with me.
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm taking Pacey and your boy on a little road trip.
You know that football player, Warren? You didn't sleep with her, did you? Why would you even ask me that? He's telling everyone you did.
Do you want to hold her hand or do you want to spend the night together?
I think I know a way to get Warren. Way instead of a little payback.
Check out Dawson. That girl's fine.
An all-new Dawson's Creek next Tuesday.
So First of all, that was Eric Balfour in the preview. He guest stars in this episode.
Oh,
He was like
okay.
in everything in the 90s.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he guest starred in a lot of TV shows. He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's been in like everything. So Billy's still sticking around. First of all, we open with another Savage Garden song, Truly Madly Deeply.
I love it. I love that band. I sang along. Loved it. Loved it.
As Dawson's like moping because like he can't get over Jen. Joey's like over it. She just wants to have movie night. She presses play on the movie, and it's his video of Jen like coming out of the cab.
Like he's been watching it, obviously, right? Like he's been watching it over and over and over. Oh God. Oh, gross. But yes. Yes.
This
And
is
of
why he
course,
wanted to
Joey.
get their first kiss on camera so he could rewatch it over and over again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, so creepy. It's so cringe. But yeah, Dawson's full emo.
But he also mentions that Billy has not left town, and he keeps like catching him like lurking outside Jen's window or like her house. And at one point, Billy climbs up a ladder, and I'm like, did he steal Joey's ladder to like get into Jen's bedroom?
That's what I said. I said, how did this man get a ladder? Like he's not from here. Like
Yeah. He must have just grabbed the ladder from Dawson's house and like went across to Jen's house.
Right. Like Jesus, and like how old is this guy? Like is he in high school? Like is he in his 20s? Like there's a lot of things wrong with like a 20-year-old man climbing into a young girl's fucking room. Like and grandma like okay.
He like lays himself on Jen's bed, and Graham's like walks in to like get something for Jen, and she's like, Jennifer, get the phone and come up here.
And I was like, she's just like, oh, who are you? And it's like, what? This woman, I'm surprised she didn't like. Well, when she told him to bring the phone, I was like, oh, that'd be hilarious. She was to grab it and just call 911 immediately, like, hi.
Yeah.
Like, don't even. What's your name?
Report a breaking and entering.
Like, seriously, like it's so creepy and cringe, like, and inappropriate. Like, this guy is literally breaking and entering and just like harassing. So and just walking into schools, like no problems.
Jen is even done with it. She's just like, leave. Like I told you no, go.
Exactly. Like we're not. No, thank you.
So he somehow convinces Dawson to like that they're gonna make Jen jealous by making her think that he's moved on with other girls, and they're gonna go to like a bar and like hook up with other girls or stay out all night and make her think that they're hooking up with other girls.
Like it's same thing as him staying with Dawson. Like, why would you want this? Like, I don't understand. Like, why would you want your ex's ex anywhere near you at any time? Like, I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to go to any club at all. Oh my God. He
says to Pacey in front of Joey and Jen that they're going to a whorehouse.
Yeah, he heavily implies that for sure. And Pacey's like, I'm going. Hell yeah.
So Jen and Joey kind of bond in this episode because they're both kind of disgusted of the thought of Dawson losing his innocence and being like a guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, also they see through completely like this whole thing. Like they're just kind of like, whatever. No, good luck. Whatever happens. They do nothing to stop them.
Joey accepts a ride to school from a football player who's hitting on her the whole time. And apparently he spread a rumor that they slept together. And quickly, because Jen is like, did you sleep with whatever his name was? I don't remember his name. And she's like, no, why would you ask me that? She's like, because he's telling people.
That is incredibly fast because they just got a ride together. And he just decided, I'm going to spread a rumor about Joey, which felt very unwarranted. Like they had an okay, I guess, talk. She just turned him down, and
Yeah.
or Joe okay though.
And then when she confronts him about it in the cafeteria, he's like, "We could both use this to like help our reputations." And when she's like, "No," he's like, "I don't want to be your boyfriend." Like he like shouts it to
Yeah,
like make her sound desperate.
yeah.
So
Also, he
Jen,
deserves what happened to him.
so
He
Jen
deserves that.
decides, she's like, "How about we do a little payback?" And
Yeah.
who's best to spread more rumors than Abby Morgan, who makes her reappearance?
Yeah. I thought this was really smart. I wish I was this smart in high school, for real. Like, this is hysterical, like, to spread this kind of rumor as a counter to the
Yeah.
other, because he'd be shitting bricks.
So Joey's just like in like the office making copies of like a textbook or whatever, and Abby walks in and she's just like, "Oh," she's like trying to be more popular by saying you hooked up with the football player or whatever. And then
Mhm.
Joey starts fake crying, but well, fake crying for us, but she looks like she's crying to Abby.
Yeah.
And she's like, "He told me he loved me, and he cried the first time we made love." He's like, and then the strip turned blue, and Abby's like, "What?" She's like,
Oh,
"That
yeah.
bastard." All of a sudden, Abby's all like pro girl, and she's like, "I'll ruin him."
Oh, so good, though. It was perfect. Really
And
good.
the minute Abby
I was
leaves,
like,
Joey just like stops her crying, and she continues what she was doing.
yes, I was ready for that. That I could not I, like, seriously, I was like, "That is so smart." I'm like, "I hope other people have used this." Like, because it's exactly what should happen. Because if you're gonna spread shit, expect shit to come back, that's for sure.
At one point, when her and the football player were like arguing, and he was being an ass, I expected her to like punch him because she will she'll fuck a football
She
player up.
doesn't play.
She has
Yeah,
a history.
no, that's why it's kinda crazy she hasn't slapped Dawson yet. Like, I'm surprised. I feel like a Dawson slap is coming, like, eventually, like a good hard slap one day. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. She'll do it again. I don't know
So
why people mess with her.
something that I feel was like a filming error. Um,
Mm,
so this is supposed to be one day because Dawson they cut school and they went to Connecticut. They took a ferry somewhere and to go to the
yeah,
club because apparently there's no bars around that they could go to locally. Um,
right.
and so this is supposed to be a school day, but Joey comes knocking on Jen's window and she's like, "I don't know about this plan." And this is when they kind of fight. And Joey kind of like turns on Jen and she's like, "Are you doing this to like live out some revenge fantasy that you got like a chip on your
Yeah,
shoulder?" And
yeah,
Jen's like, "Don't make this about Dawson." And then Jen's claws come out because she's like, "He's only gonna ever see you as his friend, good old Joe, one of the boys." She's like, "And trust me, that's how he'll always see you." I was like, "Ooh, Jen, don't do that."
right.
But then later on, they're back at
Yeah,
school because it's supposed to be the same day. So I'm like, did
yeah.
they get to leave school for lunch and then they went back? Like,
Well, it's always like whenever you see like a high school drama where they to go outside and sometimes you see them leave campus for like
yeah,
no reason and then yeah, like maybe some at some point in very high school lands across all of those shows, kids could just leave and come back to school whenever. There have been times I think that people did like vocationary schooling in the middle, but they're sophomores. They're not like
yeah,
those are like that's like a senior
yeah, because that's what
level
I
type
did my
stuff.
senior year. So
Yeah. But so maybe you might be right. Like there might be just an editing error where and like they
because
messed
it
up the
almost looked like
shots
that was
because
nighttime, and she was just like coming after school to be like, "I don't know about this plan." But then later,
yeah.
like they were back at the school, and then it was actually nighttime later. So I
I
think,
thought that was the next day.
yeah, I
I
did.
thought that was the next
The only thing that kept bringing me into like, oh, this is supposed to be the same day was the fact that Dawson, PC, and Billy were like on their road trip.
yeah, right,
Um,
right. That was wild.
Speaking of that, so they're on the ferry. There's some drunk guys picking on people, pouring beer on people's windshields. So they decide that they're gonna get like their revenge on these guys by like hooking it to like the ferry so that when everybody goes to drive, the whole frame of the car breaks off.
They tear the back axle off this dude's truck
Yeah.
after watching them harass people. Oh my god, it was amazing.
And apparently Pacey
Well,
mooned them, but they couldn't show that on TV.
yeah, I was gonna say that the way he got them to try to peel off is showing them Pacey's butt. Oh
Um,
man, but yeah,
so they end up at a
that was
bar and they're like telling Dawson he needs to like talk to some girls. He's like, you see what Pacey's doing? He's got like 10 girls lined up. So if he gets rejected by one, he moves on to the next. So
just
Dustin
all
sees a
the
girl wearing like a film shirt. So he's like, okay, I'll talk to her. So he's like, hi, I'm Dawson. And she's like, good. She's like, oh, you're Dawson. And she like turns around.
yeah,
And he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just like, I'm sorry.
yeah,
And he's like,
yeah. But he rallies. He does
yeah.
an okay job. He rallies. He comes back around, gets her on his side
And he
because he's a
says it
gold
was her
retriever.
shirt that got him to come over because she asked, like, what made you choose me? And he's like, your
Yeah,
shirt. And she's like, oh, not even any cleavage showing. So, and
oh
then
yeah,
Billy tries to mess it up by kind of flirting with her. And she's just like, you want to get out of here? And so
yeah.
Dawson's
He
like,
does
okay,
the thing. Yeah, because like so Dawson goes up and she tells him her name, and it's like Maria or
it's
something like
Nina.
that because
Nina.
Nina. So like they make a Christopher Columbus joke.
Yeah.
She's like, "Don't make a Christopher Columbus joke, and we'll be good." And then Billy literally does that as he's
Yeah.
trying to show up and like shut up Dawson. He literally does that joke. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm Christopher Columbus." She's just like, ugh, ugh. And then they
So
bounce.
she says, like, they're going to go back to her place or whatever. And Dawson stops it and he admits that he's not over his ex. And he tells her like what that night was supposed to be. It was supposed to be him hooking up with somebody to like move on or whatever. He's like, but
Right.
it started like that, but he actually really enjoyed their conversation. And she had a comment like, oh, she's like, you could still come back to my place, give them something to talk about. You just watch movies. And she's like, I don't know what I'm saying. She's like, you make a decision before I card you to see how like to see how old you really are.
Truth, because he's 15, and if that woman is now she is 21. That
Right.
is out of control. Jesus Christ. With the show.
So he ends up kissing her.
Yeah, that does happen.
And that was it. It was kind of like a goodbye kiss. Everybody's kissing everybody. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
He kind of well, Dawson has some game with the right kind of lady, right? I mean, so like Billy and Pacey are like fuckboys, right? Trying to train him to be that kind of guy in those ways.
Mhm.
But Dawson is a golden retriever boy. He does
Yeah.
not do those things. He
Okay.
can't do those things. He doesn't have an insincere bone in his body. That's like his only redeeming quality. It also makes him hella dumb.
Right.
So it's just like so you just sit there like, because so like I think she kind of like saw like they did connect. I thought they actually did connect,
Mhm.
and it made sense at the kiss. But like he's obviously way too young for her,
Yeah.
and she the judgment call.
um. So he goes back into the bar. They pick on him for not going home with her. He basically calls Billy an idiot, and Billy bails on them. And
Yeah,
he's like, you could have waited till we got back to Cape Side before like you insulted him.
right. Gotta learn lessons, right? Hey, that's the very true. I mean, but Billy deserved it. He's just trying to play games. Like that's all these are. They're mind games. He's trying
Yeah.
to manipulate people to do things, you know,
And
so he can report back.
this
Dumb shit
is
like
the
that.
thing that gets rid of Billy. And we've been trying to get rid of him for 2 episodes,
Yeah,
but he's gone.
can't believe he's still here.
But I'm gonna be honest, I was dreading these 2 episodes. There were fun things in
Yeah,
them, but they're not my favorite. They feel kind of fillery to me. Um, I don't
yeah, yeah. I
I
can
don't
see
like
that.
Billy. I'm sure the actor's a very nice guy, but I don't like him. Um,
don't like his character. It's all right.
He was in an episode of Buffy in season 1 where he was possessed by a hyena with a bunch of other people, and I didn't like him in that either. So
He just doesn't hit the right notes
he
for
doesn't
you.
do it for me.
No, no.
So
Yeah, I can
I'm
feel
glad
you.
he's gone.
Yeah. I can feel you on that with these episodes, sure. Specifically this middle one. I would say like this last one we just talked about them going to the club and everything was probably the most forgettable one. I
Yeah.
did like though that Jen and Joey got a little commiseration time. I want them to be friends. I feel like they could be really great friends if just Dawson didn't exist. But he does. So we kind of have to just live with it. I hope this helps foster more of the relationship.
So Abby's confronts Joey. She's like, I know you lied. She's like, my friend used to date him. I think, oh, Warren.
Right.
Now for some reason, thinking about Abby talking, I just heard Abby say his name, Warren. Um, she says she used to date him for 6 months and he had a little trouble, I guess, getting it up. So
Okay. Yeah. Poor
actually, no,
guy.
she confronts Jen with that, and then Jen tells Joey because we see Joey laugh
Right.
when she hears about it.
Right.
So
And yeah.
Joey confronts him with this, and she basically says, retract everything you said about me, or I'm going to tell everybody that you have a little issue down there getting it up with the ladies.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. You don't mess with Joey. Joey's hella smart. You
Yeah.
don't mess with her. Don't play games.
And at first, I didn't know like where they were going with this. Were they trying to say he was gay, and that's why he couldn't get it up
That
with the ladies?
that was what I initially thought because like they are implying that he had a hard time getting up like with her specifically in a way, the way they're
Yeah,
emphasizing what they were saying. But at the same time, it's just kind of like either way, this guy needs to just zip
yeah.
it and leave Joey alone. He's got some audacity though on him, I'll tell you, because he even tries to like, you're like, come on, he like propositions Joey again in the whole
Yeah.
negotiation over like, she's like, nah, you just pull it back, pull the rumor back. I don't want to do anything else to do with you. And he's still like, but come on, girl. And he's like, no. She's like, no, no, I said no. How many times do I have to continue saying no?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, I thought this was a cute scene. Joey ends up bringing ice cream to Jen's, and they just kind of like share an ice cream carton outside on her porch, and like
that's what I'm saying.
reflect on their plan.
I think this was a great little bonding moment. I really want them to be best friends. I really do.
So I want to pay close attention to their dynamic throughout the series because
Mhm.
as I was watching those scenes, I'm like, are Jen and Joey the real love story? Are they like, is it about their friendship?
Well, okay, considering it's called Dawson's Creek, I'm assuming this is supposed to be centered around Dawson and his life with everyone's like his friends. But
um,
I love Joey, and I absolutely would love that to be the focus of this whole show is their relationship. Her and Jen, hell yeah.
well, I will say this: it's called Dawson's Creek, but at some point, Joey becomes the central character, and it basically becomes Joey's Creek. So
Far better character. She has so much more depth. She is just like Katie Holmes is fucking knocking it out of the park. I love Joey.
I
So
mean,
like
it even gets to
the
the point where Dawson is missing from episodes. Like that's how like essentially not focused he becomes.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Great. So
That's
we're gonna
like
go in the direction I
that's like
want to see.
towards the end of the series. Like,
That's okay because I figured, thinking about both of their careers, specifically James Vanderbeek and Katie Holmes, you kind of can, if I remember correctly at the time when this was airing, like how they were kind of like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Um,
But yeah,
I remember when I first read that she was with Tom Cruise. I was like, "What? How did that happen?" That was a dark
I
time in her
don't know.
life.
There's some crazy stories about Scientology though, and since he's so involved in it, like a part of me believes that she was like quite literally paid to be
Yeah.
and a lot of money and that for a limited all the time, but he don't see his kid anymore. I don't want to
Yeah.
get too jumped off of the
Yeah,
topic,
I don't wanna
but
go too deep into that. I was just like, "What? How did you get Tom Cruise? Like, are you
yeah.
kidding?"
Oh, there's so many things I could go off of. But anyway, yes, love
Um,
Joey. So I'm okay with that. If it turns into the Joey and Jen love story or friendship story, I'm happy. I'm
yeah,
1000% happy.
I wanna pay close attention to that and see how that evolves and see
Yeah.
if maybe I just wasn't focusing on that because I was so into, like, the love stories, like, the romance, that I
Right.
wasn't paying
The
attention to their
OTP,
friendship.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have
Well,
to keep an eye on that. Um,
yeah, me too.
so Dawson comes home. He stayed out well, he didn't stay out all night because they were stranded. It took them all night to get home, and Joey's in the
Right.
bedroom in his bedroom, and
Yeah.
he just wants to crash, and he quickly says, "How was your day?" And she's like, "Oh, got knocked up by the lead quarterback." And he's like, "That's nice." And he, like, rolls over as Truly Madly Deeply plays again.
Yep, yep.
And
He's like, "I haven't slept for 24 hours."
yeah, he's like, can this wait?" And she's like, "I can wait." And then he, like, falls asleep, and she's like, "Yeah, I can wait." And I'm like, "We know you
Oh,
can wait, girl. We know."
like, there's these little breadcrumbs each episode dropping, and he keeps dropping the fact that Pacey and him had that conversation, like they're getting closer and closer to confession time. There's not enough has happened. Well, or I'm okay with a confession. I'm not okay with them being together. They can't be together. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna walk there. I'm gonna throw a
Alright.
fit if they come together.
Um, hold on, let me just see something. Episode 10 is titled
Yeah.
Double Date.
Oh my god.
Um,
So messy.
so I will roll the not the credits, sorry. I'm so used to I will roll the credits. I will play the promo for it, and then we will talk about it.
Yes.
You to meet your new lab partner.
Him?
Her?
A class project brings an unlikely pair closer together.
You have the hots for Joey?
Yeah. Okay, so you're cool with this then?
A lifelong friendship is put to the test.
I changed my mind. I don't want you to do it.
You don't want me to kiss Joey? You seem a little worked up here, Dawson. I don't know how to break this to you. You're a little late.
An all-new Dawson's Creek next week on the WB's New Tuesday.
Okay, that promo is misleading. That was not the focus of the episode.
No, not really. But those were the main drama points, and they really gave a lot away, which I think is really messed up for a promo.
Right.
Man, like I think that was high drama besides Dawson and Jen's interaction and stuff like that was in there. Like the
Yeah.
attempt to kiss, like, all of it. God damn.
Um,
An editor.
I guess they were like, "Ooh, Pacey and Joey are gonna kiss. We have to tune in for this." So they were like, "We're gonna put it in the
Yeah,
promo."
yeah, it's so it is pretty misleading too. Like if you had no idea what was happening in that episode and you watched that, you would have thought, "What? Pacey and Joey are together? What?" It's like, no, that's very misleading. Don't believe it.
So Dawson doesn't know how to like move forward with Jen, like what they are, like if they're gonna be friends or if they're gonna get back together. Like he just doesn't know like which way to zig or zag. Um,
No.
and when he goes to school, Pacey encourages him to like figure out like what they are, and he's like, "You need to know like what you're gonna say." Oh no, Joey was the one that said that. You need to know what you're gonna say when she says when you guys have the conversation of, "Can we be friends?" And that's
Yeah.
literally the first thing she says to him is like, "Can we be friends?"
Yeah. And like Pacey tries to tell Dawson to play it cool, like be cool, man. Like whatever she wants to do, you're fine. You're over it. They both are like, pretend like you're over it. And Dawson's indeed not over it. He's definitely not over it.
So then he's like, "Yeah, sure, we could be friends." And she's like, "Okay." And so they're like walking and talking. And he's like, "So you doing anything fun this weekend?" And she's like, She's like, "Well, in the interest of being friends," she's like, "I actually have a date with Cliff." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. I have a date too."
Jeez. And it's only like a couple weeks, right? Since they broke
Yeah.
up. It's like
Yeah.
a week or something like that. Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of spending time by yourself.
so he was
Jen.
So he's like, "So in the interest of being friends, why don't we double date?"
Yeah, which was also crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Um,
Oh my god.
and then the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, "You don't even, like, have a date yet, so now you have to find somebody to be the person for this double date."
And I thought it was gonna be Joey. At that time, I was like, "You better not go to Joey." That'd
Alright,
be
'cause
so
then
messed
there
up.
goes Jen
Like,
and
I
Joey's
couldn't be
friendship.
yeah, for real, like, they just got together.
Pacey's failing marine biology,
Yes.
and the teacher says that he does well on standardized tests, so he's bright, he just needs to put the effort in class.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have one of his, smarter students do a project with him, and it ends up being Joey, as we saw in the promo. And they're doing a project on snails, and I guess they have to, like, monitor these snails overnight at some point because Pacey
Yeah,
says
yeah, that
he came in at night to check on them, and they looked lonely, so he put this other snail in there, and we find out it was a carnivore snail that eats other snails.
to do a menage a trois, a snail menage a trois.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what an idiot. Oh, I feel for Joey at this moment. She's just dealing with dumb on dumb. And oh my god, so they die.
So, they go rowing into the creek to find some new snails, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wait,
Pacey
yes.
didn't
So
tie
they
the boat up, so the boat's just, like, floating away.
he's the worst. He's being literally the worst through this whole episode. He couldn't be, like, more scummy and not helpful or productive. Like,
Okay, that
ugh.
water must have been freezing because this was airing in the spring of '98, so that means it was filmed in the fall of '98 in
Yeah.
Wilmington, North Carolina. That water was probably freezing.
Yeah, well, like, a lot of scenes, you could see like, especially during the night scenes, like,
Mhm.
you could see their breath while
Yeah,
they're talking.
yeah,
I was just like, "Oh, this has gotta be hella cold
yeah.
where they are right now." Like, they're filming at the middle of the night when it's the night scene, like,
Right.
dead night, where it's the coldest.
So they have to, like, swim back pretty much or walk
Yeah,
through
they, like,
Shallow
through
Creek.
it. Yeah, up to the waist though, which is not if you ever walked in, like, river on a riverbed and through a river, it's not easy. It's like
Yeah,
silt and mud, and you're just, like, sticking your feet out oh god.
yeah.
Ugh,
So Pacey has blankets in his truck, um,
yeah.
and he says, "Let's take these wet clothes off before we freeze." And she's like, "I'm not stripping in front of you." He's like, "You're gonna then get pneumonia. What do I care?" So she's like, "Don't peek." And he's like, "I wanna." So then he strips down
Mhm.
again, and he's like, "Okay, now you." And she's like, no." So he's like, "Fine, I'll start the car." And he's like, kind of peeking through the rearview mirror.
Like, on the side mirror? Yeah,
Yeah.
he was watching her, and I was like, "We were thinking good things about you not too long ago, Pacey, like, don't ruin it with this gross, scummy behavior."
Yeah.
But yeah, he does, he peeks at her. But he
So
doesn't see much.
no, just her
Of
back.
course, it's TV.
Well,
Just
yeah.
her back.
We don't know what he saw because he also mooned somebody and we didn't see it. So
That's true. That's true.
um so the double date happens. Dawson ends up asking some girl from his class that kind of looked like she had a crush on him in the beginning of the episode. Um
Yeah.
but she doesn't know it's a double date. And when she sees Jen, she's just like, "What's going on? Are you not over your ex?" And
Yeah, she called him out though in the beginning. She's
yeah.
like, "You sure you wanna go on a date? You sure you're not over your ex?" And he's like, "I'm fine. It's fine. I'm
And he makes
great."
up a lot. He says that him and Jen are
Yeah,
friends, and she
yeah,
didn't want to feel uncomfortable with Cliff, so she asked him to do this for her. So he, like, flat out lies to her.
yeah, twice.
Come to find out later on that she actually has a crush on Cliff, and it's like the two of them are gonna, like, tag team them and try to, like, ruin their date.
Right, right. This whole episode, Dawson is not coming off very well. He's
No.
lying to, like, everyone about everything and using this poor girl throughout the whole thing. granted, she ends up using him too because she's into Cliff. Like
Yeah.
that. Still, ooh,
Um,
Dawson.
they're
Okay,
waiting to
let's
go
see.
on the Ferris wheel, and the minute it stops, she's like, "Hey, Cliff, we haven't had a lot of time to talk. Why don't you and I go on together?"
Go on, girl, get your man. I love it. Get it. Okay. Real
And
bachelor energy. Like, steal that alone time.
Jen and Dawson get on together, and they end up getting stopped at the top. And this is where they have like their full-on dramatic conversation. And Jen's like, "I think I changed
Yeah.
my mind. I don't want to be friends with you."
That's why you're not friends with your ex. It's not good cricket.
And he wants like
Jeez, you gotta
answers like right now. He wants to know, why did you really break up with me? Like, what was the reason?
Yeah, I mean, he even says, he's like, "You said you wanted to be alone, you wanted to discover yourself, or blah 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 blah." And it's like, in reality, you just didn't want to be with me, and you didn't say that. And it's kind of like, that's not really fair. I mean, like, you just don't listen to like anyone. Like, you didn't
Yeah,
get it from the like, you quite literally called her a slut like as many times as you possibly could,
yeah,
disrespecting her in front of literally everyone multiple
yeah.
times over. That's enough. Just that alone.
I
And of
mean,
course she would fall out of love
I did have
with
that thought too. I was like, she did say she wanted to be alone, and now she's going out with Cliff. And even though she kept saying it's just a date, I'm like, I'm like, you're kind of
well, you
doing.
have to acknowledge the perception of it at
Yeah,
least. Like, sure, maybe you didn't have plans to be in a relationship with Cliff, but at the same time, if you're going out with a guy, you gotta know what that looks like to everyone else. You can't pretend like it's not. You just have to know what the consequences are gonna be when you walk out of the house.
yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation. But again, they're young, they're learning. Welcome to 7th girl.
So Pacey and Joey go back to her house. She lends him some clothes of Bodhi's, and he like wants to know why she had to do this project. He's like, "How low was your grade?" He's like, "I'll take some of the stress off. I got a 32. What did you get?" And she ends up saying a 98. And he's
Yeah,
like, "What?" And she's
yeah,
like, "I need to get out of this town." She's like, "Clearly I don't have money." She's like, "I need a scholarship." And she's like, "And I need my grades to be as high as possible so I can get a scholarship. Otherwise I'll be stuck in this town forever."
that's right. And I get it, girl. I get it. Like, the living situation alone is enough to want to get out, but also like the messiness of your relationship with Dawson. I like the way things are going. I want to get out too. Like, I can't be around that like forever.
um he ends up taking her to the fair that Dawson, Jen, and Cliff and the other girl are at. They find
Yeah.
Dawson, and Pacey's like, "Can I talk to you alone?" And he basically is like, I just need to ask your permission." He's like, I hung out with Joey today. I seen a different side of her." He's like, "And I think I might like want to like, date her or kiss her." And
Yeah, like
Dustin's
he's
like,
into her.
"You guys are mortal enemies." And he's like, "Well," he's like, "After that, I don't think so."
Well, now that like, he sees her as a person instead of like the object of like his friend's desire or
Yeah.
whatever. I saw it. I mean, like they obviously like connected in some way. They finally made some sort of like thing, and I kind of was okay with it, to be honest with you. I was like, why not give it a chance? Like Dawson's looking after Jen. What does it matter, right? Dawson don't like Joey like that, right?
It was a it was a weird thing Dawson said though. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Go for it." He's like,
Sure.
he's like, "Why wouldn't I want my two best friends to kiss?" And I'm like, That's weird, but okay."
It's like, come on, it's like one of those days where it's like, sure, why not? Like it progressively gets higher as like you're trying to convince someone that you're not like you're fine, totally fine, like, and you're like, you're not fine. I think I wrote down, I'm like, and he indeed was not fine, actually.
um And Pacey's like, "Okay, cool." And he like goes to leave, and Dawson's like, "Wait, no, I'm not fine. I'm not okay with it."
See, so he wasn't fine. He's not fine, and he's still doing it. He's
And
just like,
Pacey's like,
I don't.
"You're not." And then he's like, he thinks for like another second. He's like, "No, I'm kidding." He's like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Go."
Fine, okay, it's okay.
And Pacey even says, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's good. It's fine."
Like, dude, you're obviously not fine. But Pacey's like, I'm gonna take it. I'm taking it. Like he
Yeah.
said it, I'm leaving. Bye.
So he takes Joey home.
Mhm.
Um, he came in hot though, because he like kissed her like right away, and she was like, "What are you doing?"
Yes,
Like I feel
yes,
like he should have
yes.
worked up to that. Maybe a little conversation. Like,
At least express what you were feeling at the time,
yeah,
because there was like, believe me, I felt Pacey's like attraction to Joey, like, but there was no reciprocation. You know what I mean? Like Joey was not vibing like that. On a friend level, yes, but there was no doughy eyes, no long looks that give us any indication, at least on Joey's side, that she was feeling it. But he was just like bull in china shop, ready to go. Classic Pacey, just go for it.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, I think he said something along the lines of like he felt like they connected and there was an attraction on his end, and she was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we connected," and he was like, "But no attraction," and she was like, "No, sorry." And then I thought she was gonna like kiss him on the cheek or something because they got a little close,
yeah,
and she was just,
yeah.
but no. Um,
She did all right. She held it.
and then he says for the record, he's like, "If you had kissed me back, you probably would have been thinking about somebody else, right?" And she just kind of she doesn't say anything, but we all know it's
Leaves.
Dawson.
Yeah. Well, like that kind of question though, I didn't think it was really necessary. I know why he asked it, because he needs to kind of save his like ego. Like it's because you love Dawson, right? That's why you can't possibly want to be interested in me, right? That's got to be what it is, right? It has nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with Dawson, right?
Right.
And it's kind of it felt like a jab in a way, kind of weird insult, because she's not doing anything about it, you know?
Yeah.
She's just sitting in her
Um,
so
so we got a little bit of Gail and Mitch sprinkled out. Apparently Bob called the house to talk to Gail about something work related, and Mitch didn't know at first that that was Bob. He thought it was another coworker, and when he found out it was
yeah,
Bob, he was pissed.
yeah. Rightfully so. Like, absolutely. I love the line of where he was just like, the next question that I'm gonna be asking him is if he has good health insurance.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I was like, "That's right. That's right, Mitch. That's right." And,
He
like, the fact that he thought he could call that house, ever again, ooh, balls on that guy. Crazy.
Mitch even at some point in the episode asked Dawson, "Has anybody called?" You could tell he's like he's hurting and he's insecure and he like wants to know like, is this still going on? And
Yeah,
Dawson's like, "No, nobody called for you." He's like, he's basically like, "Dawson, look at me." He's like, "I didn't ask
yeah.
if anybody called for me." He's like, "Get on my level, like understand what I'm
Like,
saying
look
to you."
at girl. Yeah, I thought that
It
was a
clicks
little
because Dawson's like,
aggressive.
"No, nobody's called."
Yeah, well, so, okay, the thing about that I didn't appreciate is that you don't bring your kids into your own shit,
Yeah, yeah,
like, going on between you and your wife, right? Like, I understand his desperation in that moment, please believe that, but I did not think it was okay for him to kind of, like
yeah,
the way he asked Dawson, like, that whole interaction, it was really intense, and to push that onto him, like, to bring all of that to the forefront, like, he has to deal with it too because he understands what's going on.
yeah.
It's those things that, like, maybe it gave me a little, like, trauma, like, flashback, PTSD kinda thing.
Mhm.
Because divorce is not fun, it sucks, and for everyone involved, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Come on, Mitch, hold it together, bro. Get it together. We can hang on this. The Rock, remember? You're the Rock." That's what I was kind of give Mitch some,
I guess he
some
did pull it
vibes.
together because at the end, they were, like, dancing in the kitchen or holding each other in the kitchen, and the phone was ringing, and they weren't answering it, so I guess that was supposed to show us
Yeah,
that they're trying to work it out.
yeah.
Um,
So it's nice to see. You
yeah.
love to see it.
So, spoiler alert, I guess, that's the last that we see of them for this season. Just for this
Oh,
season. This
okay.
season's almost over, there's 3 episodes left. But that's
I was
like
gonna say, does it turn into where are the parents of these
nah,
teens?
nah, just for the season. But there's so
Uh,
much other stuff that's gonna be going on that you're not even. Oh wait, no, we are gonna see the mom. We are gonna see the
okay,
mom. But I think that's the
okay,
last that we see them together in the season.
understood,
Um,
understood.
yeah, but there's
This
so
is
much
the
other
first
stuff
season.
going on that you don't even realize it until you're after and you're like, oh wait, where are the parents?
Well, there's always believe me, I've had my fair share of shows where, like, it's literally just about the teens. Like,
Yeah.
you don't like, they're going through these insane adventures, and they're just like, "Where are your parents? Aren't your parents concerned about where you are? Because 'Cause you've been gone for, like, 2 months on this adventure, and you haven't mentioned them not one time, and they
Right.
didn't explain whether you were an orphan or not, kind of thing. So, like, I totally get it. It's also the first season, so they're gonna have a lot of stuff that's not gonna carry through,
Yeah.
like, to the rest, because it's whatever works, right? It's like whatever people are resonating with. So
Uh,
storylines will probably drop off.
so the final scene is Dawson goes to the video store where Pacey works. Apparently, he doesn't work there anymore. Um, to be like, I'm not fine. Don't do it. And Pacey's like, you're late. You're too late. Like, I already kissed her. Like,
Oh,
and he like
I like that
like
approach.
indulges and says like all this other stuff happened, and Dawson's just like, you're such a liar. And I'm like, well, they did
Mhm.
kiss, but I guess that doesn't matter. But whatever.
Doesn't count.
And Pacey, it just flats out like says like you need to like figure out what you want. He's like because this confusion between you and Joey is like annoying at this point. Like he's like you need to like
Yeah.
figure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, you gotta shit or get off the pot, brother. Like, get
Nothing plays like I don't know what you're talking about, and he's just like we're bored now. Like figure it out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the end of this episode, that scene, I just remember going like, I'm telling you, this better not be leading because we're gonna creeping closer and closer to the season finale. And I'm telling you, they do confession at the end of season 1. I'm gonna be like, they better not get together. Gonna have a whole fit. Gonna break. Because, like, no, don't do this. But because it's gonna be one of those things. Maybe it's like a Ross and Rachel thing where they get together, then something happens to break them up, and then they're apart for like the majority of the rest of the show, and then they bring them back together for the series ending. I will hate that because it's just like, come on, Dawson, grow, buddy, be better. But we'll see.
All right.
I'm waiting. Let's see what's
Was
next.
there anything in the very little notes that you took
And
that
the
I
very little note.
missed?
Well, just Mitch is the realest one, and Gail's lucky to have him. Honestly, I think like she needs to count her blessings more.
Hmm.
And I just didn't understand the real motivation behind why Dawson would want to have Billy so close to him at any time,
Right.
be around Jen, and after the fact, like I feel like Dawson just has to do something to endear me into him, and I hope Pacey has a redemption arc. That's what I want. I want him to be the worst human to then turn into the best human. I want to fall in love with him later on. That's what I'm praying for. So
Okay,
we'll have to see.
we will. All right.
Uh,
Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Queers and Soaps Dawson's Creek. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.
See ya. Bye.